We all fall down sometimes, whether on a jog, off a longboard, from a roof, out of a car going 30 miles an hour. Gosh, wow, it's dusty. Or into someone's arms. I can't help you with that one. But how do we fall safely? Everyone should know this, just in case something were to happen. Even if you don't practice these, chances are you'll remember if you happen to be in one of these situations. Now there's 4 main ways you'll be flying through the air. Let's take the flying out of a car analogy. Imagine it's going 5-10 miles an hour pretty quickly, but you still have some control over the landing. This is you. Way number 1 is you land like this, anywhere up to about horizontal with your stomach facing down. Way number 2 is if you're horizontal. Way number 3 is if you're past that and maybe about to land on your head. And way number 4 is if the car was going 30 miles an hour or faster. There's still something you can do, which you'll see at the end of the video. So for way number 1, you're going to want to utilize something called a safety roll. If there's any way you can get your feet under you, which you can do if you land on your feet, to if you're about to land horizontal, you can still kind of stick your foot under you. So this still counts for that. And in that case, you want to do a safety roll. This is kind of like a front roll, but you don't want to go over your head because that's dangerous. For your spine mostly, but also for your head. If you're going really fast, you try doing a straight forward roll, there's a chance you'll just hit the top of your head on the ground, and you don't want that. There's also a chance you could compress your spine a lot, and you also don't want that. That's why you're going to roll from your right or left shoulder if you're right-handed, left shoulder if you're left-handed, to the opposite hip. So for me, it would be right shoulder to left hip because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, it would be the opposite. So again, if there's any way you can get your feet under you a little bit, this is what you want to do. Let your feet hit, and then immediately transition to your hands, but not with them locked out straight, bent a little bit. Roll along your arm, past your elbow, and through your shoulder to your opposite hip, and then boom, you're back on your feet and running again. So all of that momentum from falling turns into running momentum afterwards. So that's cool. Scenario 2 is if you fly out of a car going around 10 miles an hour and you go past the horizontal point, meaning there's a danger of landing on your head. For this, we're actually gonna combine the second half of that safety roll with a dive. So you get a dive roll. You're gonna land on your hands, again, with your arms not completely straight, and then you're gonna transition into the second half of the safety roll. Straight from your hands, down through shoulder and opposite hip, and back to your feet, but you're skipping the part where you land on your feet first. This is perfect if you're riding a bike down a mountain, you hit a 6-foot tree, and you fly over the tree and the handlebars. That did happen to me. No time to react. I threw my arms out, did a dive roll, came out the other side running, and just had a couple scratches on my arm and no serious injuries. And I was going really fast. It was right at the bottom of the mountain before I could slow down. The alternative to this is smashing into the ground with your shoulder or your head almost vertically. That would almost definitely result in some type of injury. Scenario 3, you fly forward and you're about horizontal. You have a lot of forward momentum. You can't quite stick your feet under you and you're not rotating enough to do a dive roll. In this circumstance, you're going to want to turn to the side, land on your shoulder, and slide. If you think about physics and the way force is exerted on your body, the faster you come to a stop, the more force had to have been exerted. So if you run into a brick wall, it's going to hurt a lot more than if you are running at the same speed, fall onto a brick floor, and slide. So that's kind of what we're utilizing here, and we're sliding on our shoulder because it's basically all fat. If you stick your hands out, your wrists and fingers are the easiest thing to break. Don't do that. Just turn a little bit, land on your shoulder, and slide. Don't try to stop your momentum, just go with it. Most likely you'll just come out with a scrape or two. I've done this a lot of times. Usually when I try to jump over things or off things and my foot hits something on the way off, and then I start rotating and I can't do a dive roll, that's when I'll land on my side and slide. It has worked every single time, and that's a lot of times. Scenario 4, you fall out of the car going 30 miles an hour, like I did a couple weeks ago, or maybe you're at a weird angle, you can't do any of the other things, you have a lot of speed, super dangerous. What do? Your body is on a collision course towards disaster. Well, what don't you want to do? If you're thinking about this again through the lens of physics, you don't want to stop quickly, and you don't want to stiffen any parts of your body, right? If you lock your arms out, you lock your legs out, you risk breaking something because the momentum won't be allowed to distribute itself. It will just stop, which will break something. Especially if you're going that fast. So what I did and what I recommend you do is 1, cover your head so you don't, get a concussion. And then 2, just tumble. Just let life do its thing and let your body go limp, really. I did that for about 4 to 5 seconds out of the car, and then all of a sudden I was on my feet again. I don't know what my body did because I only recorded it from first person. I came out completely fine with just some scratches and bruises and a little whiplash for a week. But that is the best thing you can do if you're in an uncontrollable situation and you're going really fast, is to just go limp but protect your head. All right, that's how to fall without getting hurt. Don't do any of these unless you have to, but feel free to practice them on something soft like this. But again, just knowing these could prevent something really disastrous in the future. So if you watch this video, that means you don't want to get seriously injured. So good for you. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.